Imagine waking up one day to find your life savings vanished into thin air, all because of a tantalizing promise that seemed too good to be true. This harsh reality has struck countless victims throughout history, leaving them shattered and bewildered. Today, we're diving into some of the most infamous financial frauds that have intrigued and shocked people around the world. By the end of this tale, not only will you be enthralled by these audacious scams, but you'll also uncover the eerily captivating human psyche that fuels such deceit. Buckle up, because what comes next will leave you speechless. As we journey through time, we'll revisit the rise and fall of countless financial empires that were built on misinformation, illusion, and sometimes sheer audacity. You might be wondering, how could these scams have been executed so effectively? What allows individuals to be manipulated into believing what they never should? These are the questions we'll unravel today, peeling back the layers of each financial fraud like the pieces of an onion. Let's start with one of the most notorious figures in financial history, Charles Ponzi, the man who inspired the term Ponzi scheme. In the early 20th century, Ponzi promised investors extraordinary returns on investments that supposedly took advantage of international postal reply coupons. On the surface, it seemed legitimate. Who wouldn't want to engage in a scheme that leveraged international postage? But the truth was far more sinister. Ponzi was paying earlier investors with the money from new investors, fueling an unsustainable cycle of deception. But here's a surprising twist. Ponzi's scheme managed to draw in millions, with many people feeling a sense of camaraderie and confidence in their fellow investors. Why are we often blind to the red flags raised by scams? Is it the allure of easy money, or perhaps something deeper within our nature urging us to believe in the improbable? As we continue, we'll explore the psychology behind these scams and learn why the promise of wealth can often overshadow our reason. By 1920, Ponzi's empire came crashing down, but not before he had swindled millions from unsuspecting victims. The reality hit hard when investigations revealed that his total assets were far from enough to pay the promised returns. When Ponzi was finally arrested, it marked a pivotal moment in financial history. The grand illusion had been shattered, and thousands lost their life savings. Yet, history has shown that this wouldn't be the last instance of people falling for such financial chicanery. Next up, let's delve into one of the largest financial scandals in U.S. history, the Enron scandal. By the late 1990s, Enron was a multi-billion-dollar corporation that claimed to be revolutionizing the energy market. Investors were captivated by their innovative business model and glowing profits. However, behind the corporate facade lay an intricate web of deceit. Enron's executives used accounting loopholes and special-purpose entities to hide massive debts, making the company appear far more profitable than it truly was. Imagine investing in a company because it wins accolades year after year, only to discover it's all an elaborate smoke and mirrors act. This was the heartbreaking reality for countless employees and investors when Enron's bankruptcy hit in December 2001, costing thousands of jobs and wiping out tens of billions in market value. What led so many to ignore the mounting warning signs? The fear of missing out, combined with the facade of corporate success, created a perfect storm for financial ruin. As we reflect on Enron, it's important to consider how corporate greed can cloud judgment. When faced with ethical dilemmas, how far might people go to maintain their lifestyle, reputation, or the illusion of success? Perhaps this question is best summed up by Shakespeare, "All the world's a stage." We must ask ourselves, how often do we play a part in our own financial downfall, masquerading behind illusions of stability and success? Having explored Ponzi and Enron, now let us venture into the world of Bernie Madoff, whose fraudulent investment scheme stands as a testament to the extremes of human deceit. Madoff's operation, which began in the 1970s, was touted as an exclusive opportunity for wealthy investors seeking reliable returns, ones that consistently outperformed the market. But it was all a ruse. Madoff orchestrated perhaps the largest Ponzi scheme in history, scamming approximately $65 billion over several decades. Yes, You heard that right. Madoff's scam was not just about financial deceit. It captured the hearts and wallets of some of the most respected figures in finance and philanthropy. How could so many brilliant minds fall for such a ruse? The allure of exclusivity often trumps logic, leading wealthy individuals to overlook the fundamental principles of risk and return. Isn't it chilling to think that even the most successful people can be ensnared in webs spun from greed and trust? As we sift through Madoff's story, we must confront our own vulnerabilities. Have we ever blindly trusted someone, abandoning our critical thinking for the sake of convenience or camaraderie? What lengths are we willing to go to for that tantalizing promise of wealth, regardless of the inherent risks? By examining these questions, we prepare to understand the nature of financial fraud on a deeper level. But let's not stop here. The world of finance is riddled with captivating tales of deceit. Let's discuss the case of Elizabeth Holmes and her once ambitious blood testing startup, Theranos. Promising revolutionary breakthroughs in medical technology, Holmes attracted billions in investments from high-profile figures and sought to transform healthcare. Unfortunately, the promise hinged on unproven technology and fraudulent claims. During a pivotal moment, testimony revealed that the awaited miniature blood testing devices didn't work. Instead of fulfilling her promises, Holmes relied on traditional testing methods hidden behind a curtain of deception. The fallout was staggering: therapeutic trust broken, investors left in the dust, and a once revered innovator now facing a courtroom full of skeptics. This begs the question, in our increasingly competitive world, how much persuasion and charm can sway even the most cautious investors? Are we too eager to believe in transformative ideas, lured by the promise of changing the world? The allure of innovation can distract from basic due diligence, leading even the most diligent among us into a precarious landscape filled with traps and half-truths. Now, let's take a moment to breathe before we explore our next infamous story, a cautionary tale that echoes the entire theme of our journey today. The case involves the infamous gold rush frauds that swept through California in the 1800s. During a time of opportunity, many were duped by unscrupulous individuals promising fortunes too good to be true, capitalizing on the dreams of miners and fortune seekers alike. Imagine opening your door, excitedly dreaming of golden wealth, only to realize you had bought a ticket to a farce. Unscrupulous owners of mining plots sold worthless land or diluted claims. The sheer enormity of these cons meant that fortune hunters became victims, deceived by their own aspirations. The real question is, how often do we find ourselves in a similar situation in our quest for success? It's this desire, this need to pace ourselves in the direction of wealth, that can make us susceptible to deceitful promises. So, where does this lead us? Every financial fraud we have revealed today paints a portrait of human ambition marked by vulnerability. Every story connects, revealing a thematic undercurrent, the delicate balance between our aspirations and our willingness to believe. The question looms: how can we protect ourselves from falling into the traps set by crafty manipulators? As we approach the end of this narrative journey, let's crystallize our understanding of these horrendous deceptions. Fraud thrives on a particular cocktail of psychology, greed, trust, and the unrelenting hope for a brighter future. By bearing in mind the lessons learned from Ponzi schemes, Enron, Madoff, Theranos, and countless other swindles, we arm ourselves with discernment, enabling us to question and analyze before we leap into financial commitments. The final takeaway should resonate deeply within all of us. While ambition can fuel our desires for betterment, it should never blind us to the realities of deception lurking behind hushed promises. Ethical prudence is essential. We should mix skepticism with hope, anchoring ourselves in reality, even as we reach for the stars. As we close, remember this: financial frauds are not merely tales of greed and deception, they are reflections of our own human experience, the conjunction of ambition, vulnerability, and the world we navigate. The next time you are tempted by easy money or an investment that seems too good to be true, take a moment to ask yourself, is this the pitch of a genuine opportunity, or am I teetering on the edge of another infamous financial fraud? Remain vigilant, informed, and curious. And as you ponder the lessons of today, ask yourself, in the vast expanse of human history, are we continuously doomed to repeat these financial follies? Or have we, through understanding and vigilance, begun to shift the scales toward an era of financial responsibility? The choice is yours as you stride into the world armed with knowledge, determined to not be another chapter in the saga of financial fraud.